NGL, being a Victorian Londoner, was already a massive L. No Wi-Fi, no AC, and everyone smelled like they hadn't showered since the last plague. But then 1858 hit, and the entire city was about to get cooked by its own waste. Real.
See this blood? This is what peak Victorian society looked like. They thought they were the main characters, ruling an empire and all that. But their aura was so negative, it was literally making people sick. Because their river, the Thames, was basically a giant open-air toilet. And it was about to drop the biggest brainrot bomb in history.
For centuries, London just dumped everything into the Thames. Human waste, animal waste, industrial waste. It was a generational skill issue that everyone just ignored. They were aura farming their wealth, but completely fumbling the bag on basic hygiene. They were so delulu, they thought it would just go away.
Then came the summer of 1858. It was hot, like deep-fried hot. And the Thames, which was already mid at best, started to ferment. The smell, NGL, it was so bad, it was an absolute cinema of stench. It wasn't just a bad smell, it was an emotional damage event for the entire city. People were tweaking from the sheer intensity of it.
The smell was so potent, it literally shut down Parliament. The politicians, who were usually yapping for clout, were suddenly caught in 4K, unable to even sit in their own building. They were like, "This ain't it, chief." They had to hang curtains soaked in disinfectant just to breathe. Imagine the ultimate L for the British Empire, mogged by its own poop.
But here's where the lore gets even more unhinged. The doctors back then were absolutely delulu. They believed in something called miasma theory. They thought the smell itself was what killed people, not the bacteria in the water. Bro, that's a massive skill issue. They were out here wearing bird masks and sniffing lavender while drinking literal sewage water. Hell nah.
They were so chronically online in their own theories that they ignored the actual problem for years. It was a villain arc for the entire medical establishment. They were caught lacking by basic biology. They really thought they could looks-max their way out of a cholera outbreak by just making things smell better? Big yikes. Finally, a guy named Joseph Bazalgette stepped up. Bro had generational aura and main character energy. He was like, say less, and decided to build a massive system of sewers to move the waste away from the river. He was cooking a solution that would actually work. He was the only one who wasn't fumbling the bag. Bazalgette built 82 miles of main sewers and over 1,000 miles of street sewers. It was a huge W for London. He basically saved the city from its own brain rot. His work was so bussin' that most of it is still being used today. Talk about plot armor. He literally engineered a glow-up for the entire city. So, the Great Stink. A reminder that sometimes you gotta hit rock bottom, or river bottom, before you can glow up. Stay locked in, fam, and maybe appreciate modern plumbing a little more. Or you might just end up living in a city that smells like a giant giat. Real.